everywhere.
Only because it's so widely misunderstood. The prince is really about political redemption.
Machiavelli, next time on Philosophy Talk.
Listen to Philosophy Talk today at noon on KSJE 90.9 FM, Farmington. KSJE is supported by San Juan Regional Medical Center, here to meet your urgent and emergent medical needs, whether they are COVID-19 related or not. Medical emergencies happen when you least expect them, whether it's a stroke, heart attack, illness, or injury. San Juan Regional Medical Center's caregivers are here to provide care to you and your loved ones. Find out more online at sanjuanregional.com. Ten minutes past 8 o'clock. It is Tuesday morning, May the 5th. Good morning, everyone. I'm Scott Nicklin. Thank you for tuning in to KSJE 90.9 FM over the air here in San Juan County, 103.3 FM over the air in the Durango, Colorado area, and of course everywhere streaming from our website at ksje.com. Welcome also to our viewers. This is visual radio after all, and our viewers are watching us live on the KSJE YouTube channel and on our Facebook page. Glad you are with us, everyone. Coming up in the next few moments this morning, it is our monthly commitment to talking about CHIC, the Community Health Improvement Council here in San Juan County, and we'll be talking about a unique program across New Mexico called No Minor Sale. My guest will be joining me to talk about that in the next few moments right here on KSJE, so stay tuned for that. And then, of course, later on this hour, we'll be checking in with Amber Francisco from the Farmington Regional Animal Shelter. Amber will be talking about some of the pets available for adoption this week, and if you're watching, we'll be showing you some of the pets available for adoption this week, so stay tuned for that. One of the pets we'll be learning about is on the screen right now, and that is Calvin. He is waiting for his forever home at the shelter, so join us later on this hour at 8:50 a.m. 9 a.m., it's our local information program about the coronavirus. We do it every Monday through Thursday live at 9 a.m., streaming to the KSJE YouTube channel and Facebook page. Megan Cullip will be here joining me as co-host, and today we're very pleased to be able to speak with Dr. David C.H.I.C. He is the New Mexico Human Services Secretary. He'll be speaking to us from Santa Fe about the issues going on, of course, here in northwest New Mexico with those high cases and numbers, and the reasons why some of the stay-at-home orders have not been lessened for this part of the state. Dr. C.H.I.C. will be joining us this morning. We hope you'll join us too. 9 a.m. streaming live to YouTube and Facebook. You can hear it again over the radio at 5:06 this afternoon on KSJE, and again at noon on our radio partner KNMI 88.9. On the radio side of things at 9, Mick Hess takes us roving with the arts. It's our weekday classical music program. Tuesdays means Bach cantatas from Mick, and that is no different this week. He is making his way through all of the Bach cantatas on Tuesdays, and that's what we'll be hearing today on KSJE. In addition to Facebook and YouTube, we invite you to connect with us on Twitter and Instagram as well. Sunshine today in the forecast, the high 78 in Farmington, 40 overnight. It'll be warmer tomorrow with a high of 86 on Wednesday, 79 degrees on Thursday with sunshine, 78 and sunny on Friday, 80 degrees with sunshine in the forecast for Saturday, and overnight lows in the 40s. Maybe a chance of showers popping up on Sunday and Monday with highs again in the lower 80s and overnight lows near 50 degrees. Well, let me turn to my guests who are joining me this morning through the miracle of Zoom, and we are glad to have them with us from all over the state this morning. From right here in Farmington, want to welcome to the program Sky Harper is here, and Sky's a senior at Navajo Prep this year. Sky, good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you for joining me, and you're finishing up classes at Navajo Prep these days, right?
Yeah.
Very good. And you are what they are calling an advocate, right? A school advocate for this program we'll be talking about this morning.
Yes.
Very good. Well, nice to have you here, Sky. Stand by, and thank you very much. Also joining us from Albuquerque, Michael Kelly is here. He is the campaign manager for the program No Minor Sale. And Michael, good morning to you.
Good morning, Scott. How are you doing today?
I am well, thank you. Thank you for joining us as well. And let's start with you, Michael, if you don't mind, by talking a bit about this program called No Minor Sale. What is it all about? It's really targeting tobacco use in our youth around our state, and I'll let you take it from there.
Yeah, so thank you for the opportunity, first off, for both Sky and I to be here.
You bet.
So long story short, No Minor Sale. It began in the fall of 2017. It's an educational advocacy campaign. It is supported by the Department of Health's Tobacco Use Prevention and Control Program, also known as TUPAC. And what we do in the state is, since fall 2017, we've really wanted to address the issue of youth tobacco prevention in New Mexico. As such, in fall 2017, we had a very initial focus. We wanted to get what community members in New Mexico thought about youth tobacco prevention. And as such, we conducted numerous amounts of surveys that talked about what New Mexico residents felt in regards to tobacco products. So I'm looking at some survey findings here. We surveyed over 4,000 people from various community events all across the state, over 175 different localities that we got people from. And what we found was that 90% of respondents were really concerned about youth under the age of 18 being able to purchase tobacco products. In addition, a lot of people who took these surveys didn't realize what e-cigarettes were. 59% of youth respondents under 18 thought it was easy for underage youth to illegally purchase these products from stores. And when you think about No Minor Sale, we really want to focus on the retail store perspective, because these youth are actually getting tobacco products at a really high rate from stores in their communities. As such, we moved eventually to support cards. We asked community members at events and presentations to collect handwritten messages of support. So instead of knowing the issue and what the issue was, we wanted to know why this was an issue for New Mexico residents. We asked, why do you care about the illegal sale of tobacco products, including e-cigarettes, to youth here in New Mexico? And eventually, we then focused on a policy to address this issue, statewide retail licensing, in which we advocated for until it actually passed this legislative session. Governor Michelle Grisham, she signed it into law on March 4th, 2020 through the Tobacco Products Act. So that is a very brief overview of the No Minor Sale campaign, but what we do is we're very grassroots. We go into communities, we have events, we educate about these issues and what's going on policy-wise in the state.
Gotcha. Well, congratulations on getting the legislation signed. That's not an easy task sometimes at the Roundhouse, so congrats on that. And let me ask you again, Michael, then Scott, I'm going to come to you a little bit for the couple of questions. But Michael Kelly, I want to ask you too about the issue with tobacco. It seems like we've been hearing about the evils of smoking and the health risks and things like that for a very long time. I'm kind of surprised that we still need to remind students and others about that, but your program tells me that we do. And apparently your survey tells me that we do.
Yeah, absolutely. And, it's one of those things where, I think it kind of just ties into how addictive these substances are. I mean, the nicotine content found in tobacco products is truly addictive. As such, when it comes to e-cigarettes becoming the new device specifically for youth, New Mexico and really nationwide, it ties into the nicotine content. And you have, so many attractive flavors. And, with the rise of Juul that, took place over the last few years, that really skyrocketed e-cigarette use amongst high school youth. Now with a federal flavor ban, there is, some restrictions at Juul with flavoring, but now when it comes to new products, this is a very evolving topic. So when you think about e-cigarettes, they're still evolving, and now you see puff bars, which are disposable e-cigarettes, not covered by federal legislation, really becoming a very popular item amongst high school youth all across the country and here in New Mexico. And that's a huge concern because, again, it still contains nicotine content. And when you think about it, why, youth are using these products because of the flavoring. 97% of youth actually use e-cigarettes because of the flavoring and attractive flavors. And, with puff bars, you have flavors like orange, mango, and guava, or OMG as they, refer to. As such, these are really attractive to youth. And they're getting addicted to these substances so young. And that's a huge concern because nearly 90% of adult tobacco users actually began using tobacco products before the age of 18. That just speaks to the importance of youth tobacco prevention, not just nationwide, but really here in New Mexico. And, we have to do as much as we can here.
Interesting. Good point. And you're right. Those e-cigarettes, we hear about them, and the vaping and all the other things are really, I think some of the earlier advertising was targeting younger folks, and so that would make sense of why it's still an issue in our state. So thank you very much. Sky, let me turn to you. Sky Harper, a senior at Navajo Prep, and talk to me a little bit about your involvement with this. Again, you're a senior this year, but you've been involved with this program since at least last year, correct? Because you've been at a couple of events when we could still go to events and things like that?
Well, yeah. So I've actually been so No Minor Sale, as Michael said, is a campaign, but I'm part of an organization called Evolvement. So Evolvement is a New Mexico program which focuses on youth advocacy. And what we do is we work on two campaigns. So one of them was the No Minor Sale campaign. So I've been a part of Evolvement for the past 4 years since my freshman year. And I've been working on numerous events, doing principal meetings, doing partner presentations, and just helping around. But my junior year, I was actually accepted by Evolvement to be on the leadership team. So what they did was they accepted about, I believe, 20 different students from the applicant pool, and we attended a week-long summit in the summer, where we learned more about tobacco policies, more about how Evolvement works and kind of how to go about the program. So the past 2 years, I've been on the leadership team, and I've helped coordinate and help host events around Farmington. So I've collaborated with the students at Navajo Prep. I've also worked with students from Aztec and students from Farmington High School. So a few weeks ago, we had a partner presentation. This was where we actually went out and spoke with a community organization and tried to get their support for the No Minor Sale campaign. So we did a presentation with the Community Health Improvement Council of San Juan County. So this one was a really great experience because this was our first actual partner presentation where we did it through Zoom. So it was kind of a whole new experience. We actually implemented different things that we did. So like Michael said, we have our support card where we get support from the community or a message on why they support our mission. So what we actually did was we created a QR code for the support card, and that was the first time implementing it. So it was pretty fun. And then I believe 2 weeks ago, I helped host an online statewide event where we had a concert by Soul Calypso, and I was able to help with that.
Good for you. Well, that's great. And so, obviously, it seems like you enjoy doing this type of thing. Do you?
Oh, yeah. The reason why I decided to join tobacco advocacy was because I actually have 5 younger brothers. So just kind of looking at how the world was today and how common it was for youth to be using tobacco products, I didn't want this in my brother's future, and I didn't want to see them become impacted by tobacco products. So I feel that if I can help advocate against tobacco use in youth, I feel like I can make a difference for them.
And what's been the reaction, Sky, from some of your brothers or even your fellow students at Navajo Prep with your involvement in all of this? Are they pretty receptive to your message or not?
Yes, a lot of students at Navajo Prep and my family, they're all supportive. A lot of the people in the community that I talk with, they're actually very supportive. They support the mission, and they feel that this was an issue that needs to be addressed.
Very good. Well, thank you, and congratulations yet again. And Michael Kelly, let me turn back to you a little bit about funding. Obviously, this takes money and resources to do some of this advocacy work that you're talking about. How does your program get its funding? Where does the money come from?
Yeah, great question. So like I said earlier, we are supported by the Department of Health's Tobacco Use Prevention and Control Program, again, also known as TUPAC, and they actually get their funding through Master Settlement Agreement funds. So that is in which how this campaign is funded.
Got you. And that was the settlement with the tobacco companies. Is that what you're talking about, right?
That's correct, yes.
Got you. Interesting. And so how important, Michael, is it to find students like Sky in the local communities to kind of talk a little bit about the campaign and to really have it coming from someone who is a teenager, who's not an adult, who's not a grown-up, and to really get that message to their peers? How important is that?
Yeah, I cannot overstate the importance of having youth such as Sky work on these campaigns. Sky is one in a million, in which the amount of work that he's done in 4 years of involvement, working on the No Minor Sale campaign, in addition to our additional program that they work on 24/7 with tobacco-free schools. It truly is astonishing the work that Sky's put in, the work that hundreds of our other youth advocates, involvement youth advocates here in the state of New Mexico have put in. When it comes down to it, I'll give an example. When we were at the 2020 legislative session, we had the opportunity to speak to many legislators. It was actually 20, in fact. And it was an amazing experience, but the fact of the matter is, and you hear this from a lot of adults who, work in the field, the power of youth cannot be understated. It truly is incredible the amount of influence they can have with policymakers. So we train them in regards to talking points about tobacco retail licensing as a policy itself and how important it would be for New Mexico. And, they went out, they talked to 20 different legislators. We had 10 different involvement youth advocates from all across the state. If I recollect, Portales, we had 2 representatives, 2 students. Albuquerque, I believe we have 4, perhaps 5. We had a few from Santa Fe, and we had a few from Las Lunas. So, we had these youth advocates who we've worked with for years actually go in, speak to these legislators, and it makes a huge difference. And, that's not just for the legislative session, but when we go to community events in Silver City, Portales, Gallup, Albuquerque, Las Cruces, all across the state, Farmington, we have so many different youth advocates who we've trained in regards to this campaign and the 24/7 tobacco-free school campaign. And the amount of work that they do put in, the quality of work, and the excitement and energy that they bring to the table is truly fascinating. And it's been a pleasure working with them.
Very good. Well, they certainly bring a great perspective, I think, to the conversation for sure. And Sky, turning back to you a little bit about your experiences in Santa Fe, going to the legislature and the legislative session. Did you learn a few things about how state government works?
I actually wasn't able to attend the legislative session at the Capitol.
Not this year? Oh, okay. But what about your other work? Tell me about some of the other things that you've been doing, because you have been really involved with this, right? As you've been talking about.
Yeah. So as I said before, we had the partner presentation a few weeks ago and the virtual concert a few weeks ago.
Right.
But for the past few years, I've actually been going out and hosting events. So the San Juan or the Farmington Health Fair. We usually go to that. For the past 2 years, we've been going and advocating there and hosting events. I've also been to the Aztec Boys and Girls Club, where we hosted an event and we collected support cards from anybody who attended. And I've also done a partner presentation at the Mayor's Teen Youth Council. So at that event, we were able to get them to sign on as a partner and have them show their support with us. Got
it. Very good. And Michael Kelly, so since Sky wasn't able to go, but your other youth were able to go to the Roundhouse, talk to me a little bit about the work involved of getting that legislation passed, because as I mentioned, it doesn't always happen right away. Is it something you've been trying to get passed in the past several years, or was this first shot out of the gate to get it through this year?
Yeah, that's a great question. Unfortunately, it wasn't the first shot at the cannon, but this work has been, for many, many years, we've been trying to pass statewide tobacco retail licensing. And that's not just with the No Minor Sale campaign, but that's really statewide. Youth, tobacco prevention advocates and different organizations all across the state have realized how important it is to pass tobacco retail licensing and how important it is for New Mexico to have it. So when you fast forward to the 2020 legislative session, right before the session began, there was a lot of excitement, a lot of talk about licensing actually becoming a realistic possibility during the session. But the fact of the matter is, New Mexico at that point was only one of 12 states in the entire country that had yet to pass statewide retail licensing. And with that as a policy in general, in regard to youth tobacco prevention, it's so vital because it really makes sure that you have an accurate, updated list of tobacco retailers in your state. Beforehand, tobacco retail stores, they didn't have to obtain a license to sell tobacco products, similar to, say, an alcohol store or a convenience store having sell alcohol and obtaining a license. And for me personally, and I don't know, perhaps other advocates can, attest to this as well, but I found it very strange that for the most addictive substances and, how prevalent e-cigarettes were and how dangerous they were for youth, that stores didn't have to have a license to sell to sell these products. As such, without licensing, it actually makes it much easier for stores to sell legally to youth. And that's what we found. We did an internal survey between 2016 and 17, and we found that 1 in 6 tobacco retail stores in New Mexico, statewide, had actually sold it legally to minors. In some communities, as high as 35% or 1 in 3 stores. So that just speaks to how important it was for licensing to pass. And, it would have been great had we been working on it for just a year. But the fact of the matter is, there were years and years and years spent, not just on our campaign, but various other organizations and programs who realized the importance of retail licensing. So when it did become signed into law on March 4th by Governor Grisham, it was a huge win, not just for us as, the No Minor Sale campaign, involvement youth advocates, but really statewide. I mean, we really understood the importance of retail licensing passing in New Mexico. And, it's not the end-all be-all solution. I think we all understand that. There are various other solutions that we may have to follow up with, policy initiatives, but this is a huge step forward for New Mexico in public health.
And so this bill goes into effect next year, January 1st, correct, 2021. And what does that mean then for our state? What are some of the new things we need to be aware of?
Yeah, you're absolutely right. So tobacco retail licensing, you're right, goes into effect January 1st of 2021. And I should preface, it's not just retailers who will need to be licensed to sell tobacco products, but also tobacco manufacturers and distributors in the state of New Mexico. So they have to attain a license beginning January 1st of 2021. That'll become an option, or at least open for them. They do have to attain one, and they have to pay a fee for that. And on an annual basis, every year after that, they'd have to maintain that license for a lesser fee. That basically means on an annual basis, we have a very accurate list of tobacco retailers in our state, which we currently don't have because licensing has not gone into effect. Some other provisions, it also increases the state minimum legal sales age of tobacco products, including e-cigarettes, to 21. President Trump did sign into federal legislation the federal minimum legal sales age increase from 18 to 21 years of age to buy tobacco products. But New Mexico passing it also just gets at level with the federal policy, so there's no distinction, there's no difference between the two. So that's a big step as well. There's a provision in there in regards to if you're a retail store and you're doing business within 300 feet of a school, you're going to be grandfathered into this policy. But after July 1st of 2020, so July 1st of this year, if you're not a store within 300 feet and you want to open up a retail store within 300 feet of a school here in New Mexico, you're not going to be able to do so due to the Tobacco Products Act, which is the bill signed by Governor Grisham on March 4th. And as I try to recollect some other key facts about the policy, mostly it was a huge licensing bill, but again, it also deals with the increase in sales age. It places the blame onto the retail store owner, which previously was not the case, and that was a huge concern. We didn't want to penalize, the clerks who are selling because they may not have the proper training. We didn't want to penalize youth either. So putting the blame, shifting it onto the store owner who profits from these sales was a huge goal, and I think we were able to accomplish that.
Interesting. And that brings up the question of maybe enforcement, Michael Kelly. Does this law help maybe local law enforcement if we want to enforce some of these things, or to maybe if someone is continuing to sell to minors to cite them or some type of citation?
Yeah. So in regards to enforcement, I think much of that still has to be, figured out with the fine details. I do believe it goes to the alcohol beverage control program in regards to enforcement.
Right.
But the fact of the matter is we really wanted to make sure that we shifted the blame from, really the store clerks and youth to the store owners. So in regards to enforcement, there will be compliance checks done randomly throughout the year. There's no mandated minimum requirement for, say 2 or 3 mandated checks per year due to the Tobacco Products Act. But what it does do, it provides more flexibility in regards to conducting random compliance checks all across the state. And it'll be so much easier to do so having that accurate list of tobacco retailers in our state. If you're not licensed to sell tobacco products after January 1st of 2021, I believe you will face a misdemeanor. There are various penalties associated with selling without a license. And that will help deter these illegal sales from taking place in the first place.
Understood. Well, talk to me a little bit about how folks can get involved, maybe like Sky has gotten involved, but Michael Kelly, is there a way for the rest of us to get involved if you want to help spread the word of what your organization is doing and spread the word about how many youth are being targeted by these tobacco sales and things like that?
Absolutely. There are many ways. Thank you for asking how y'all can get involved. All throughout New Mexico, what you can do to get involved with the No Minor Sale campaign is, first off, you can visit our website, www.nominersale.com. We have a great website. We have a lot of resources there. It's actually currently, we're working behind the scenes in regards to updating it. So we should be including some of the Tobacco Products Act findings. We'll include the policy itself. We'll include some facts about the policy, a Q&A for retailers. And suffice to say, we do want to support tobacco retailers in our state. That was a huge part of our campaign. We understand their community members as well, and we really want to emphasize their role in everything with youth tobacco prevention, because I've talked to so many retailers across the state, and we actually have them sign on to the campaign as well. So similar to Sky saying how the Community Health Improvement Council of San Juan County signed on, we also invite tobacco retailers all across the state to sign on to the campaign. And that's been a really great part of this campaign. We've had 13 retail partners from all across the state in a few different cities. And, so first off, go to the website. It'll be updated very soon. You'll see those changes reflected very soon, I hope. But in addition, and I really would love to plug this, you can actually volunteer for the program. So I run, along with, those I work with here in Albuquerque, a volunteer program. So if you want to go out into your communities, host an event in any part of the state, and granted with COVID-19, that does complicate matters, of course. But similar to Sky, you can also conduct presentations virtually,
right,
or also in person whenever we do get back to that. You can write blogs, you can share us on social media, you can do various other things as an adult volunteer for No Minor Sale. So I encourage anyone to apply at nominersale.com/volunteer. The last I would say, you can always share us on social media. You can look us up on Facebook. We're, No Minor Sale. As you see the logo here, it looks like that. And, there's so much more you can do. You can talk to family members, friends about this campaign, about tobacco use, youth tobacco use, and why tobacco prevention is so vital here in New Mexico. It's a leading cause of preventable death, tobacco use. And, when you cut it out early and when you focus on prevention side of things, it makes a huge difference.
Very good. Well, it really does. And that's the reasons why that you're on the program and working with C.H.I.C, the Community Health Improvement Council here in San Juan County. And Sky, before we run out of time, I do want to ask you a little bit about, again, your future plans. You've been working with this organization as a volunteer and learning a lot of things about advocacy and getting the word out and talking to a bunch of different people. And so what are your plans after this? You're graduating, you're a senior, congratulations. And what's next for you?
Well, right now I've applied and I've been accepted to Drexel University in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. So I'm planning to go to Pennsylvania and major in health sciences over there. Hopefully I will continue to pursue a career in the healthcare field. I just felt that this exposure to the whole issue of tobacco and youth and how tobacco affects kind of everybody is just something that kind of struck home with me. And from there, I've decided that I want to go into the health field.
Good for you. And of course, this school year has been unique, to say the least, for you and your fellow seniors and things along that line. How have you been dealing with some of the changes with your classes and things, moving things online and changes for graduation and all of that?
I've just been trying to stay positive. I was looking forward to quite a lot this year, but a lot of things have been canceled or changed. So the way I just kind of deal with it is just stay positive and remember it could be worse.
That's a good point of view to have, Sky Harper. And so I thank you for joining me and talking a little bit about this. Good luck at university and congratulations. I think you're going to do great, and we need more smart people like you in the healthcare industry. So thanks for being here.
Thank you.
You're very welcome. And Michael Kelly, thank you for joining us as well this morning in the campaign. And again, thanks for sharing and letting us know how folks can get involved to continue the work that you're doing. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Scott. We really do appreciate it.
You're very welcome, both of you. Thank you very much. My guest this morning, as we focus on CHIC, the Community Health Improvement Council here in San Juan County, talking about the No Minor Sale campaign. I'm Scott Micklin. I'll be back with more in just a moment. This is KSJE, and the time right now is 8:39.
The next wave of tech to try to fight the coronavirus is drones, and they are not likely to be a big hit. From American Public Media, this is Marketplace Tech, demystifying the digital economy. I'm Molly Wood.
Marketplace Tech is supported by HealthTap, with doctors available 24/7 to provide on-demand virtual healthcare to any type of workforce. Members connect with doctors by text or video.